back to the drivers room. We're in the Sunday League again today. This is season 3 of 2020, round 3, tier 1, and we're in a one mate race in the F1500s, racing at Blue Moon Speedway in field A. Let's take a look at our grid. Pole position today we have MJR Mercer. He's 6th place in the championship at the moment on 27 points. Having a really strong start to the season. It's his 27th appearance in the Drsl tier 1. Grabs his first pole position. Can he convert this to his first tier 1 race win? Second place today we have Mungino, 16th in the table at the moment with 4 points, probably having his worst start to a Drsl season to date, finishing at the back of the pack in the opening 2 rounds. Narrowly missing out on pole position today. Can he finally get some good points on the board and kick off his season? Starting in third today we have Drsl, 4th in the championship at the moment on 29 points. 2 top 5 finishes so far for Drs this season, but yet to get himself on the podium. Needs to rectify that today really, as he finds himself 30 points off the top of the table going into round 3. Starting in 4th place today we have Flapjack. He's 13th in the table at the moment on 9 points. 7th place finish last round for Flapjack in his first appearance in season 3 Drsl. Definitely has the pace to fight for a podium today, qualifying just outside the podium places. In 5th place today we have Flyzo, making his first appearance in Drsl this season after putting himself down as a wildcard driver. Looking quick here today in the F1500s with a top 5 qualifying performance. We'll see how he gets on today. In 6th place today we have Wilco. He's 8th in the table at the moment on 13 points. Tough start to the season for Wilco, finishing just outside the top 10 in the opening 2 rounds. Finds himself starting at the front of the midfield today. We'll see how he gets on from 6th. Starting from 7th place today we have Mr. Sean. He's 5th in the table at the moment on 27 points, 2 top 5 finishes for Sean so far this season. Finds himself level on points with pole sitter Mercer going into round 3. Let's see what he can do from 7th place today. In 8th place today we have Murkoff. He's 10th in the table at the moment on 13 points, finishing just outside the top 10 in the opening 2 rounds. 3 drivers missing from the grid today, so should be on for some good points, and does usually go well in the F1500. See how he gets on from the midfield. Starting from 9th place today we have Ferdek. He's 9th in the table at the moment on 13 points, finds himself level on points with Merck ahead, and Wilco starting in 6th. Said it before, but the skill gap in tier 1 is extremely narrow now. Let's see how he gets on from 9th today. Starting from 10th today we have Muller. He's 11th in the table at the moment on 16 points. Hasn't really got himself up to speed this season. He should be on for some good results today if he can keep it clean and make up a few places, starting from nearer the back today. In 11th place today we have Bullet. He's 7th in the table at the moment on 16 points. Slight dip in form for Bullet last round, only bringing home 4 points. Has a lot to do starting from 11th today, and really needs to improve his results if he's to better his 5th place overall finish from last season. Starting from 12th place today we have Rocker. He's 12th in the table at the moment on 11 points. Only 1 appearance made so far this season, picking up a solid 8th place finish last round. Got a lot to do starting at the back today, or near the back, but like his brother, a bit of a dark horse in the F1500. We'll see how he gets on. In 13th place today we have Canny, 15th in the table at the moment on 6 points, having missed the last round. Only 6 points registered in the opening round. Finds himself at the back of the pack today. Got a lot to do, but again in this F1500, keep it clean and tidy. It should make some places up. So that was our grid walk for the Drivers Room Sunday League Season 3, Round 3, Tier 1. Before we get underway, quick mention for Ferdek making his 10th Tier 1 appearance today, Flapjack making his 20th Tier 1 appearance today, and Muller making his 40th Tier 1 appearance today. Both Muller and Wilco sitting on 29 top 10 Tier 1 finishes as well. So we'll see how we get on. Let's get underway. So just looking back from Mercer on pole, say his first pole position in the Drivers Room Sunday League Tier 1. We see how he gets on as we fire up the old F1500s. The top 3 drivers in the championship not racing today, so everything to play for. It looks like Mercer's bogged down from the line. Oh, he's been swamped from the start. He's falling right back to 4th place by the looks of it. Mungino slots himself up in the 1st place now, as you've got Drsl in 2nd. Mercer recovers back into 3rd place by the looks of it. Just ahead of Flapjack in 4th. Flies over retaining. I was going to say retaining his 5th place, as it looks like Flapjack is falling down the pack. Oh, he's had a terrible start. Someone else has gone in at the barrier in the background there as well. That's Bullet having an atrocious start there. And Mr. Sean did start from 7th place, finds himself down in 12th place now. Let's take a look back at that start. Just looking back from Mercer's point of view on pole, and so I think he just bogged down a little bit, got away slowly off the line, got absolutely swamped into turn 1. And just keep an eye on Mr. Sean, a few cars back. I think he's had the same issue. And yeah, there you see Mercer getting overtaken by a few cars. Mr. Sean in the background there, falling right through the grid at the start. And then we'll keep an eye on Flapjack here, as I think he had an incident coming out of turn 2. He's running 4th place at the moment. You see Flyazo just on the inside of him there, and Flapjack's running right into the wall, falling down to 8th place there. And a little bit of contact there again, I think, with that might have been Muller. But yeah, terrible start from Flapjack, falling right down to 10th place now, as you've got Merck in 11th. Sean recovering now in 12th place after that poor start. Front end damage there as well, so I think he might have punted someone somewhere. Just noted as well, Mr. Sean, the only man starting with the racing softs on the rears, everyone else starting on the super softs front and back. Back to the front of the race now, we've got Drsl in 1st place, Mungino in 2nd, Mercer's recovered up to 3rd place now. Flies having a good start in 4th, Wilco's had a good start from 6th as well, he's up to 5th place now. We're right on the gearbox of Flyazo going into turn 1. Lap 2, just takes a little bit of a look there, so it gets a little bit untidy, but still on the inside. I think he's just yielded that position back to Flyazo, as there might have been a little bit of contact. We'll go back in 5th place. You've got Rocker in 6th place. Rocker having started from 12th place up into 6th place. Really good start from Rocker there. Did say he's a bit of a dark horse in this F1500. Say himself and his brother Murkoff generally go well. Murkoff's had a slower start, dropping from 8th place on the grid down to 10th place now. As Canny and Bullet seem to be swapping positions on the graphic. Bullet's had a really poor start, finds himself at the back, and Mr. Sean's had another off somewhere. We'll spare his blushes, we won't take a look back, but start of lap 3 now. This is Mungino taking a look in for the lead of the race, going into T1. Gets the job done up into 1st place now. Drsl in 2nd, Mercer 3rd, and just on the graphic now, I think Wilco's done the same to Flyazo's moved himself up into 4th place there. So Mungino in the lead of this race now, just past the 2-minute mark. So really poor start to the season from Mungino, finishing at the back of the pack in the opening 2 rounds, and yeah, definitely looking to make amends today. So he gets the job done on Drsl. Start of lap 3. But Mercer not far behind, still in the hunt for a race win today. Again, another driver who does tend to go quite well in the F1500s. Looks like Wilco has closed the gap up a little bit to Mercer in front, as he's opened the gap up to what was Flyazo in 5th. That's Rocker up into 5th place now. So yeah, Rocker having a really good start to this race. Barely 3 minutes into it, and Rocker's moved himself up from 12th on the grid to what is now 5th place, to see what he can do to the top 4. There's a little bit of a, I wouldn't say field spread, bit of spacing out between the top 4 now. Everyone just about within slipstream of each other, as Rocker just starts to close the gap a little bit up to Wilco ahead. Flyazo very close behind as well. And they're closing the gap up to Flyazo, so you've got 5th to 8th place starting to bunch up a little bit now. We're at the back of this fight. Flapjack a little bit further behind, back up into 9th place now, after his mistake on the opening lap. This Flyazo might have just dropped out of the tow a little bit, and Lost a lot of speed there somewhere as Furdeck just takes around the outside, gets the job done. Up into 6th place now, Furdeck. Who did start in 9th place, so again another driver who's made up a good few places in the opening stint of this race. It's a bit of a gap up to Rocker ahead now. Rocker's still looking to catch Wilco ahead. Looks like Wilco might have opened the gap, so I think the top 4 are just starting to pull a little bit of a gap. Mungino's pulling a really good gap out in the lead as Drsl starting to fall back into the clutches of Mercer in 3rd place. And yeah, could be in danger of Mercer making a move into T1. Drsl crossing the line. 58.5, 58.7 for Mercer, but he is in that toe now as he just moves out of the slipstream a little bit, has a little bit of a look. But Drsl on to 2nd place for now. Mercer in 3rd, Wilco in 4th. So it looks like Rocker has dropped off a little bit off of the pack ahead, and Furdeck does seem to be closing the gap to Rocker again as he goes purple with sector 1 on lap 6. Furdeck definitely finding a good run of form at the moment. See, no positions changed in the top 4 as of yet. Mercer still not. He grazes the wall there on the exit of the final corner. I think he's just about far enough ahead to be safe from Wilco at the moment. But yeah, Furdeck definitely closing the gap to Rocker up ahead now. Right in the slipstream, this should be a pretty textbook move into T1. Yeah, gets the job done around the inside. So Furdeck up into 5th place now. And Rocker will be looking to just manage his tyres a little bit. Maybe fuel and benefit off a little bit of slipstream. But he looks like he's fighting back into T4. Does take a little bit of a look, but does lose momentum and falls right back towards Muller and Flyzo. A battle for 5th to 8th, still bunched up, but I think these guys will start losing touch with the top 4 if this carries on. Yeah, let's have a quick run through the grid. Really good racing so far. Mungino in 1st place, coming to the end of lap 7 now, having set the fastest lap of the race on lap 5. Extending his gap, 58.5, 59 flat, so Mungino extending his lead by half a second on that last lap as Drsl still under pressure from Mercer. Still got Wilco for company in 4th as well. These guys running, as Wilco nicking the fastest lap on that last lap, going purple on lap 7. So 2nd, 3rd and 4th managing to carry really good speed at the moment. Furdeck crossing the line 1 minute flat on that last lap. He's obviously getting into a bit of a battle with Rocker at the moment. Did get a pretty comfortable overtake done on Rocker a lap earlier into T1, but hasn't managed to pull away at all. And Rocker is still firmly in the slipstream. Just looking at the fuel levels there as well, as this old F1500 very, very thirsty on fuel. I think fuel management is going to be a major part of strategies on how this race pans out. But yeah, you just see on the graphic up ahead there, so Mungino out in the lead, and 2nd, 3rd and 4th still very close together and battling and pulling the gap from, which was 5th to 8th, still running reasonably close together as Merck's closed the gap up to this fight now as well to make it a 5-car battle from 5th to 9th. And Flapjack not that far behind either, so you've got Flapjack 10, Bullet in 11th, Mr. Sean in 12th and Canny in 13th. As just continue to watch this fight for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It's definitely playing into Mungino's hands at the moment. And Dsl's had a really poor exit out of the final corner of lap 9. And Mercer says thank you very much, moves up into 2nd place. And that's Wilco taking an early pit stop there, so maybe looking to get an undercut done. Down to 17% of fuel though, so yeah, very thirsty car. See where Wilco feeds back into things, and yeah, desperately needs a bit of clean air. He's going to make this pit stop work, but does have to take on a lot of fuel, so might find himself right at the back anyway. So yeah, fueling is going to be a major part of this race. As you see, Wilco pitting from 4th place, takes on pretty much a full tank of fuel and rejoins in 11th. Does have some clean air now though, so we'll keep an eye on those lap times, see how they compare to what is now the top 3. And yeah, Mercer up to 2nd place. He's going critical on fuel now though as well, so we should get a direct comparison of if an earlier stop, and that is both of these drivers pitting. So 7% of fuel for Mercer, 13% for Drsl. Will cost Mercer in the pits. Drsl may well get the overtake done in the pit stop. So a few drivers jumping in for their first pit of the race now. Flapjack crossing the line in 4th, managing to get another lap in. Bullet up into 5th now, as we should have a few drivers rejoining the track, and here comes Wilco in 6th place. We'll see where he is in comparison with Mercer and Drsl, and he's around the outside. Drzl's got the inside, but Wilco's got a lot more momentum. His tyres are up to temperature and gets the job done really good. Critical overtake there for Wilco, as he really needs to make that undercut work. See what he can do in clean air now. Does still have the purple lap 7th, definitely has pace, but see if he can carry good pace with no slipstream in front and a lot of pressure from behind. So yeah, it looks like Drsl did get the job done on Mercer in the pit stops, as we've got Mungino pitting from the lead. We'll stay with this pack now and we'll see where they are in comparison to Mungino. So Wilco, oh, it's a poor exit, really didn't need that, as he could come under pressure from Drsl now into T1. And just seeing on the graphic, I think that's Mungino coming out the pit exit now. He's on the inside. Oh, that was so close, but falling down to 3rd place. The undercut very powerful today. So Wilco finds himself in the lead of this race, a legitimate lead as well. There's all these guys having pitted now. And top 4 running really close together. Really interesting to see how this pans out now. Wilco in 1st place, Drsl back up to 2nd, Mungino down to 3rd place, having pitted from the lead of the race, and Mercer in 4th. Like a little bit further behind in 5th place now. He's made his first pit stop of the race. Muller, did he not change tyres? So he's obviously taken on fuel in that last pit stop, but looks like he didn't change his tyres to maybe save a couple of seconds. And that is Mungino. He's had an incident somewhere. We'll have to take a look back, see what happened. So yeah, just towards the end of Mungino's out lap, by the looks of it, he's had an incident in the final corner. He's on the grass already. I don't know what's happened there. Complete lapse of concentration maybe, but nearly collects Mercer. Mercer gets away with it, gets himself back up into speed, but is under pressure from Furdeck now after that coming together. Yeah, just looked like a little lapse in concentration from Mungino in the braking zone of the final corner, and just put the car on the grass and completely binned it. A little bit of contact with Mercer as well, which has compromised Mercer's run onto the main straight, and Furdeck took full advantage, moves himself up into the final podium spot. So this has allowed the top 2 at least to sort of break away now, as the top 4 were running very close together. And yeah, it's really opened this race up quite a bit now. So Wilco in the lead, Drsl in 2nd, Furdeck in 3rd, under a lot of pressure from Mercer. Mercer was running really well for that little coming together, as was Furdeck, to be fair. Furdeck's shown a lot of pace. He's done remained pretty consistent, got himself in good track position now, but he's just he's had a poor exit out of the final corner, makes contact with the wall. Should be a pretty bread and butter move for Mercer at the end of this straight. Slipstream really kicks in when the cars get close together. Furdeck going a little bit defensive into T1, tries to fight it, but I think that car will have enough grip, more than enough grip, to hang that round the outside of the long left-hander. And Mercer back up into 3rd place now, Furdeck down to 4th, just hitting the 13.5 minute mark. Muller up into 5th place now, see how that tyre wear affects him. as he's got Rocker for company now all over the back of him. Rocker on the fresh super softs, as I think he might fancy a move here somewhere. Rocker and Merc, two brothers running very close together on track again, but it's Muller running wide again there. As Murkoff finds tyre wear slightly worse, but yeah, Rocker getting the job done around the inside of that hairpin. He'll have the inside of the final corner. Should be pretty textbook. We'll see if Muller can fight back with a slipstream at the end of the straight, but I think that tyre wear's starting to compromise him a little bit now. Rocker's had a really good exit out the final corner. Muller might well come under pressure from Rocker's brother now. So both the brothers getting the job done on Muller. Within a couple of corners, Muller falling back to 7th place now. See how he does there. Next man down the road is Flyzo. Mungino in 9th place now. And getting himself back up to speed after that huge crash. Got Flapjack in 10th place. A little bit further back, Bullet's having a bit of a nightmare today in 11th place. And Mr. Sean in 12th. So we've lost, I think we've lost Kenny from the back somewhere. So I'm down to 12 runners now, but we'll come out and lead the race. Doing a really good job. 58 flat last lap. We'll keep an eye on these lap times of the top two. So 58.3 and 58.5. So Wilco extending the lead out in front by half a second. And yeah, looking on course for a very good result today. And still just hitting the halfway mark of the race now, as we've got Mungino, just missed that Mungino up into 8th place, getting the job done on Flyzo. A little bit untidy through that banked section, but keeps the speed up, holds on to 8th place. Flyzo down to 9th and now down to 10th as Flapjack takes the invite, as Flyzo lost a bit of momentum and falls down to 10th place now. Flapjack up into 9th. Mungino up to 8th. Next man down the road from Mungino will be Muller on the slightly warm super softs, so should be in a position to put Muller under a bit of pressure within the next few laps. As Muller just struggling to stay in touch and distance with Murkoff ahead. So Rocker doing a really good job, trying in the top 5 now. See if he can extend a bit of a lead, bit of a gap to his brother on the fresher rubber. Furdeck running well in 4th place, as Mercer has opened up the gap a little bit to Furdeck. 58.2 from Drsl. Drsl has responded to Wilco's pace up ahead. Makes things very, very interesting. Drsl doing better on fuel as well, so I think he's got a good 15-20% more fuel. And Wilco responds to Dsl's pace going purple on the second sector of lap 17. Really interesting battle up front developing at the moment. We'll keep an eye on these lap times again. But 58.1 and 58.6, so another half a second gained on that lap overall from Wilco. As they're just trading sector times at the moment. Mercer quietly getting on with it in 3rd place, 58.4. So Mercer slowly closing the gap up to Drsl in 2nd place. It's got quite a few seconds to claw back, but he's a little bit quicker at the moment. So Furdeck in 4th place. Rocker in 5th. That's 58.3, similar lap times Rocker and Merck at the moment. 1 minute for Muller. It's definitely looking to come in and pit soon. He's losing a lot of time on that warm rubber. Mungino in 8th place hasn't really managed to close up the gap to Muller ahead as quick as I thought he would, as Flapjack and Flyzo are still well within his slipstream, so he's got the moves done. Got ahead of Flapjack on track, but yeah, hasn't really extended that gap. So yeah, around the 1 minute mark again, 59.8 and 59.8 from Mungino. So yeah, very similar lap times at the moment, but it looks like Bun's a lot better on the brakes there into T1, close that gap right up. It's still under a lot of pressure from Flapjack at the moment. So Flapjack going purple in sector 1. And before we flick away, I think that is, I've nearly missed that, Flapjack getting the move done on Muller and Mangino. So Muller's had a little bit of a untidy corner there, and that compromised Mangino a bit, but Flapjack's down the road now. Muller back up into 8th, Mangino in 9th, and Flyzo in 10th. Very close together. But leader of this race, Wilco, has pitted from 1st place. This promotes Drsl up into 1st place. We'll come back to that fight in a minute. But yeah, Wilco pitting from 1st with 1% fuel. So it's been a really, really long pit stop now. I think he fed back out around 11th place last time. We'll see what Drsl can do from what is now 1st place, as Mercer doing a really good job on the fuel as well. So top 3 really going to bunch up again after they all make their pit stops. Ferdek not that far behind, just going critical on fuel now as well. It's yeah, really interesting fight at the top. I think there's still 4 drivers that are well within a shot of winning this race. Drsl gets a really good exit out of the final corner there, just grazing the wall but not losing any speed, but yeah, he does peel off into the pits. Mercer, I think he's in 2 minds there. Mercer, Ferdek taking a really late decision to dive into the pits there. Rocker into the pits, got Merc into the pits, Flapjack into the pits, Flyzo also pitting. So let's have a look back to Wilco now. Did pit from 1st place with 1% of fuel. He's taken on a full tank of fuel now. See the varying percentages of fuel on the left there on the graphic. And Drsl rejoins the race in 1st, but it's a bit more comfortable this time as Wilco sweeps around the outside of T1 again to reclaim the lead of this race. So yeah, Drsl in 2nd, Mercer in 3rd. He's got Bullet up as 4th now, a little bit out of sync with the race strategies of those around him, as is Mr. Sean in 5th. So Bullet in 4th, Mr. Sean in 5th, yet to pit. Ferdek in 6th will move up a couple of places within the next couple of laps. Rocker in 7th, Flapjack in 8th, Merc in 9th. So Mangino rejoining the race in 10th place, still just ahead of Flyzo. Muller rejoining it in 12th place. So right at the back of the pack now. And, yeah, a lot to do from there. So Wilco in 1st place, and Drsl looks like he's closed that gap up quite a bit on that opening lap. On his 1st out lap, right in the slipstream of Wilco now. So I don't think he's close enough to get a move done into T1. So Wilco really good on the brakes there and just makes it stick. It's under 10 minutes of this race left to go now. See how much further Mercer is behind. If these 2 guys start to battle and Wilco goes defensive, you will see Mercer start to close that gap up as well. Yeah, 8 minutes left of this race to go, and yeah, the battle is on for 1st place. Yeah, Mercer only a couple of seconds down the road, does have Bullet for company, really critical on fuel now. So yeah, Ferdek already ahead of Mr. Sean. Mr. Sean must have pitted the lap before actually. So yeah, a little bit of a battle between Bullet and Sean at the moment. So Bullet joining, Bullet pitting from 4th place, so this promotes Ferdek back up to 4th for some clean air now. Mercer quite a bit down the road now. He's got quite a lot to do to close that gap. Mercer's starting to get some consistent times again, but Wilco doing a really good job out in the lead, just weathering the pressure from Drsl at the moment. And yeah, Rocker in clean air in 5th place, and Merc under pressure from Flapjack in 7th. Flapjack's got a lot of pace today. Say that early incident on lap 1 just compromised his race completely, and yeah, he's found himself battling through the grid throughout this race. But Merc doing a good job in 6th place at the moment. Flapjack 7th. He's got Flyzo in 8th place now. I think he was ahead of behind Mangino, so Flyzo up to 8th, Mangino in 9th, Muller in 10th. So Bullet and Sean rejoining the race in 11th and 12th respectively. And I think Sean's had an incident somewhere because he was running quite close to Bullet before their last round of pit stops. Bullet choosing not to change his tyres on that last stint as well. Mr. Shawn on the fresh rubber, so may well close the gap to Bullet ahead towards the end of the race. But Wilco out in front, looks like he's opened. Oh, didn't see Des on the graphic there, but he's opened a little bit of a gap to Des. Des still just about in the toe, and just about claw his way back at the end of the main straight. But he's had an untidy couple of corners, and Wilco, I think, has nearly broken the toe of second place Drsl. But we'll see. There's 58.4, 58.6. There's a couple of attempts in it at the moment. A bit of a gap back to Mercer in third place, and 57.9 from Ferdek in fourth place, going purple. So yeah, could get interesting for that last podium place. It's taken over a second out of Mercer on that last lap. As long as he can keep that fuel going until the end. But Ferdek looking really dangerous at the moment. Really quick lap time. It's definitely obviously opening up the gap to Rocker in fifth place, who's very comfortable fifth place at the moment, as Merck is still semi-defensive over the charging Flapjack in seventh. Frizo a little bit further back, looks like Mungino starting to close the gap up on Frizo again. Miller a little bit further back in 10th, see if Bullet can do anything to Muller up ahead. Muller on the fresh rubber now. Bullet just has to watch his mirrors now for Mr. Shawn from behind. I did say at the start of the race Wilco was on for his 30th top 10 finish today, which he'll pretty much has certainly completed already. But this will be his first tier 1 race win, I believe. He's got a very formidable driver behind in Drsl. Still 4 minutes of this race left to go. 4, 5, 6 laps left. Really good consistent lap times, as looks like Des has pulled a little bit back on that last lap, so Walker under a lot of pressure at the moment. Mercer in third place, as Ferdek maybe has dropped off the pace a little bit on that last lap, as Mercer pulls out his personal best in the opening sector of that lap in response to Ferdek's pace behind. Definitely looking to hold on to that podium place. This will be only Mercer's second podium in Drsl Tier 1. But, yeah, he's had good pace today, just got caught out at the start early on, and yeah, just lost out to the top 2 guys ahead. Looks like Drsl has closed that gap a little bit more again. 58.4, 58.3 from Drsl. So another attempt taken out Wilco on that last lap. It's just under 2.5 minutes left to go now. So I think Mercer's doing enough to hold on to that third place. Is 59.9 from Ferdek last lap. It's a very untidy lap, or maybe conserving some fuel to get to the end. As Rocker's on the charge now, Rocker's found a lot of pace from somewhere at this late stage of the race. Has maybe noticed that lap delta from Ferdek up ahead starting to decrease quite a bit. He's taken 1.6 seconds out of Ferdek on that last lap, so that's obviously spurred him on quite a bit as he starts setting his PBs, dragging his brother along with him as well. Both these guys finding a good bit of pace this last stage of the race. Ferdek might well find himself in a bit of trouble within a lap or two. It's under 2 minutes of the race left to go now. 58.6, 58.4, so only 2 attempts in it that last lap. 58 flat from Merck behind, so These three guys looking to close the gap. 57.8 and a purple lap from Flapjack this stage of the race. So car's running extremely light now, and an extra point up for grabs for the fastest lap. So definitely worth trying to grab that, and probably one of 8 drivers that can get that at the moment. As this is Rocker taking a look at Furdeck through the hairpin, and he gets the job done. Furdeck just losing a lot of pace this late stage of the race. He's picked up some damage somewhere front right, so he's had a collision with a barrier somewhere. Merck muscles his way through as well, and up into 5th place. Both the brothers there moving up 4th and 5th respectively, and Merck just seeming to have a bit more pace this stage of the race. See what Rocker can do in clean air now, but it looks like Merck's going to be right in his slipstream. Just under 30 seconds of the race left to go. Go back to the leader of the race, Wilco 59.1 last time, and a 59.1. Mercer's in 2nd place. What's happened there? Let's take a look back. So yeah, just as we were watching that midfield battle develop between Rocker, Merck and Furdeck, Drsl just at the start of lap 28 going into C1. As we join on board, is right in the slipstream of Wilco still, just getting a bit of dirty air now, and meets the apex of turn 2, but just runs completely wide onto the grass, and he's got dirty tyres. He's lost a lot of speed, as you see the tyres just lighting up there, wiggling around all over the place trying to get the power down, and he's just a sitting duck for Mercer now, moving up into 2nd place. So Mercer's consistency really paying off today. Unfortunate, only a slight error there from Drsl. It's yeah, just under 2 minutes of the race left to go now. We have MJR Mercer, Mr. Driver's Room, back up into 2nd place. Drsl down to 3rd place now. See if he can do anything. Barely 2 laps left to go now of this race, and this has given Wilco a lot of breathing room out in front. He just needs to bring the car home now. Outstanding race. One of the was running 4th early on, and that early pit stop I think it's just paid off massively. Got an early undercut done on a few drivers, and more importantly, when he's found himself out in front in clean air, has done a really good job. Weathered a lot of pressure from Drsl behind, and yeah, looks on course to grab his first Drsl Tier 1 win. So Drsl does look like he has closed the gap a little bit to Mercer in front. Yeah, this was Furdeck's incident earlier. Yeah, he did have a little bit of a crash, picked up that damage, lost a lot of speed. You see Rocker and Merkoff just moving their way through up into 4th and 5th. So yeah, Furdeck down to 6th, Flapjack in 7th place, Mungino in 8th place, Flyzo in 8th place, sorry, Mungino 9th place, Muller in 10th, Bullet in 11th, and he's under a lot of pressure from Mr. Shaw now. As I say, Mr. chose not to change his tyres on that last pit stop, and I think that's just cost him quite a bit as both his drivers come round to start their final lap, and we'll see. I think this should be a pretty textbook move from Mr. Shaw. Final lap of the race, moves himself up into 11th place, and not a lot Bullet can do to fight that. But stay with Wilco now to the end of the race. As, yeah, looking like he will be the first official finisher coming round the final bend now. Just needs to keep it neat and tidy. A really good job on the fuel as well. Yeah, comfortable win in the end for Wilco. Congratulations, 1st place. First Drsl Tier 1 win, and 2nd place for Mercer. Outstanding drive. 3rd place for Drsl, making up the final podium spots. Rocker doing enough to hold off the fight from his brother in 4th. Merck finishing in 5th place. Flapjack in 6th place. Furdeck in 7th. Flyzo 8th. Mungino 9th. Muller 10th. Mr. Shawn 11th, and Bullet in 12th. But that was the Drsl Tier 1. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.